Hi, this is Mr. Wartsky again, and this is the second screencast of ecology. This was the last slide that we ended up with. This is the predator and prey graph. I just explained it. If you want to draw it, you can. Hopefully, we'll do a predator and prey simulation in class. So, predators can affect the number and types of species. Predators can eliminate species in an area, and they can also increase diversity. You're asking yourself, what do you mean by that? How can that increase diversity if it keeps on eating things? Well, predators could keep down the dominant species, keep the dominant species in check. Without the predator, the species could completely take over an area and push out other species. For example, I know this might be a bad example, but kudzu on the side of North Carolina Road. Since there's no actual organism that eats kudzu, the kudzu is allowed to spread. Now, if you could have something that would eat a lot of kudzu, it would eat it and keep the kudzu in check. The lionfish, the same thing in the Atlantic Ocean. Lionfish have no natural predators because it was imported from Asia. Since it has no natural predators, it will take over an area and reduce the diversity of fish in that area. Problem with invasive species. That's another issue. Kudzu, I just talked about that. Symbiosis is a close and long-term association of two different species, so they work together. Now, there are three types of symbiotic relationships: mutualistic, commensalistic, and parasitic. So mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. So in mutualism, okay, we have right here, mutualism up top, parasitism, commensalism. So what is that? What do you mean by those things? Oh, so in mutualism, sorry, both species benefit from this relationship. In commensalism, one species benefits and the other species is neither harmed nor helped. In the third symbiotic relationship, which is parasitism, one species is helped, the other species is hurt. So in here, the alligator and the bird is cleaning off the alligator or crocodile's teeth. Now this helps the bird get food, helps the crocodile maintain good hygiene and decrease tooth infection. The tick is parasitic with humans in that the tick benefits, but the humans do not. The humans can be harmed. Well, over here we have the shark and the remora, or the hitchhiker fish. This hitchhikes with the shark. It gets transportation, and since the shark is a sloppy eater, it will get the leftovers from the shark. Community composition and stability. So what determines the number of species in a community? Well, island biogeography model says that the number of species is in equilibrium. And the number is determined by the resources or the carrying capacity of the environment. Now we have the intermediate disturbance hypothesis, which states that disturbances clear an area, and once cleared, the different species can invade. First, the R-select invade and take over, and then there are a lot of species, a lot of diversity there. But over time, with competition, the number of species will decrease, and the K-select will take over. Now, the more frequent a disturbance, the more species will be in the area. And if the area is undisturbed, the number of species will be in equilibrium. And if it's undisturbed for a really long period of time, you will have a stable community, which is called the climax community. Now, this brings up the topic of ecological succession. And this occurs if the time between disturbances is long. So there's two types of ecological succession. Primary, where you initially start with no life. With no life, it should say lichens, and it should be an end there. Lichens break down rock into soil, and then we have moss. Then we have herbaceous monocots, herbaceous dicots, conifers, and then woody dicots. So there is a succession of plant life as we go on in time without any disturbances. You know, succession only deals with plant life, and animals move in accordingly. In the secondary succession, life was present, but there was a disturbance. So soil is already there, and depending on the disturbance, if it just gets rid of the plant life, then you have the soil, and the moss comes in, and the herbaceous monocot, the herbaceous dicots, conifers, and then woody dicots. And it's just a succession of life. So as I cut my grass every week, now I'm keeping my herbaceous monocots, right? So then if I leave my grass alone and let it grow for over a period of time, then I will see herbaceous dicots, conifers, and woody dicots. And here is succession. We start with rocks, lichens, soil, mosses, grasses, all the way up to the climax community, which is your woody dicots. So since I have there's a lot of farmland here and a lot of pine tree growth on all these lands now, over time you would expect those pine trees to be replaced by woody dicots, oak trees, maple trees, beech trees, and that's it. Hope everything was okay. If you have any questions, please refer to your textbook, or you can watch the video over again, or you can talk to me in class tomorrow. Have a good night.